Did you know that according to Japan Times, over 75% of Japanese people over 50 spend less than 20 minutes a day tidying up? Meanwhile, here in the States, we are spending double that time. Yet we often feel like we're just spinning our wheels. When I lived in Japan, I was genuinely struck by the profound sense of peace in their homes. You see, while our American homes might be bigger, that extra space often invites extra clutter, creating an invisible weight that sits on our shoulders every single day. But just imagine for a moment. Imagine walking through your front door and feeling nothing but relief. Imagine your home finally becoming the sanctuary it was meant to be, rather than another item on your to-do list. Right now, I'm going to share 10 timeless Japanese habits that will help you reclaim your time, lower your stress, and bring that well-deserved serenity back into your life. Let's dive in together. Let's start with the first habit, and honestly, this one was a complete game changer for me. It's called the one-touch rule. Let's be real for a moment. We've all been there. You walk through the door, toss your mail on the counter, drape your jacket over the back of a chair, and tell yourself, I'll put that away later. Sound familiar? It's the American way, isn't it? But here's the catch. That later rarely comes when we plan it. Instead, those little items pile up, creating a mountain of clutter that steals our weekends. In Japan, the mindset is entirely different. The one-touch rule is simple but profound. If you touch it, finish it. Don't put it down. Put away. Your coat goes on the hook, not the chair. Your dishes go straight into the dishwasher, not the sink. It might sound trivial, but the impact is real. Research from Harvard on procrastination shows that these unfinished tasks create a cognitive load, a constant, low-level stress humming in the background of our minds. And according to tidying expert Marie Kondo, this simple shift alone can cut your cleaning time by nearly 30%. Personally, when I stopped procrastinating on these tiny tasks, I reclaimed about an hour of my week. But more than the time saved, it's about the feeling. It's the freedom of looking around your living room and seeing space, not chores. So, here's my challenge to you for just the next 7 days. Start small. Focus on 2 things, your keys and your shoes. The moment you walk in, hang the keys up, put the shoes away. It takes 3 seconds, but it sets the tone for a peaceful evening. And speaking of walking the door, that brings us perfectly to the next Japanese secret. A unique philosophy about the entryway that acts as a shield for your health. This leads us beautifully to the second habit, a concept known as the Genkan mindset. In Japan, the entryway, or Genkan, is treated as a sacred boundary. It is a specific place where you remove your shoes, and symbolically, it is where you leave the dirt and the stress of the outside world behind. Now, think about how we do things here. We often march right into the living room, sometimes even the bedroom, with our shoes on. But did you know that according to the EPA, up to 90% of the dust, bacteria, and allergens in our homes are trapped on the soles of our shoes? We are literally walking toxins into our sanctuary. I remember a dear friend of mine who struggled with asthma for years. When she spent time in Japan and adopted this shoes-off culture, something remarkable happened. Her symptoms significantly improved. Her home became a true safe haven for her lungs. As touched upon in the book, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, respecting your home starts at the door. You don't need to remodel your house to embrace this. You just need a designated zone, perhaps a comfortable bench for sitting, and a simple rack for your shoes. Make taking off your shoes a ritual. Let it be a signal to your brain that says, I am home, I am safe, and I am leaving the chaos out there. Walking onto a pristine floor in your socks or bare feet after a long day, it truly feels like stepping into a clean paradise. And now that we've stopped the physical dirt from entering, we need to address something else that clutters our lives, mindless waste and the overflow of stuff. Now that we protected our entryway, it's time to face what's piling up inside. This brings us to the third habit, a profound Japanese philosophy called Mottainai. While often translated simply as "what a waste," the true meaning is much deeper. It's about gratitude and respecting the spirit within every object. Here in the States, we live in a culture of impulse. We buy to feel better, but what is the cost? Forbes shocked us with statistics that the average American home contains 300,000 items. Just let that sink in. 300,000 things calling for your attention, your energy, and your time. I used to be guilty of this. I held on to everything just in case. But when I embraced Mottainai, I took a hard look at my kitchen. I asked myself, has this gadget served me in the last 6 months? I decided to let go of nearly 50% of my clutter. And do you know what happened? I didn't feel empty. I felt lighter. I felt a sense of freedom I hadn't felt in decades. Beyond the personal relief, a UN report suggests that this mindful approach can reduce personal waste by up to 40%. But for those of us over 50, the biggest benefit isn't just environmental. It's mental peace and financial sanity. So, try this. Instead of heading to the store, try shopping in your own closet. Keep only what truly sparks joy or serves a purpose, and thank the rest as you let it go. And here is a beautiful truth. When you own less, cleaning becomes effortless. That leads us directly to the secret of the next habit, the power of the micro clean. With fewer items to manage, we move to the fourth habit, the secret to never feeling exhausted by housework again. It's called daily micro cleaning. Here in the States, we often fall into the trap of the weekend marathon. We let things pile up all week, then spend our precious Saturday scrubbing until our backs ache. But the Japanese approach, rooted in Zen traditions, is entirely different. They see cleaning not as a heavy chore, but as a gentle daily rhythm. Think of it like compound interest for your home. Instead of a massive cleanup, you invest just 30 seconds to wipe the sink right after brushing your teeth. Or you wipe the counter while waiting for your morning coffee to brew. These tiny, consistent acts accumulate into a massive result. Good housekeeping suggests that this approach can reduce the need for deep cleaning by up to 50%. Personally, since I started this, I sleep so much better. I no longer lie awake on Sunday night, dreading the mess that awaits me on Monday morning. It's a small achievement that brings profound peace. So, try identifying just 5 triggers in your day. When the coffee brews, wipe the counter. When you step out of the shower, squeegee the glass. Keep it effortless. And once your surfaces are sparkling, the next question is, where do all the little loose items go? That brings us to the art of organization in habit number 5. With our surfaces wiping down easily, let's tackle the things that usually clutter them. This brings us to habit number 5, assigning a home for every item. Let's be honest with each other. How many times this week have you muttered, "Now, where did I put my reading glasses?" Or, "I swear my keys were just here"? You are certainly not alone. According to an IKEA survey, 60% of us lose time every single week hunting for misplaced items. It's not just annoying, it creates a subtle feeling of losing control, which can be especially unsettling as we get older. We Americans are famous for our junk drawers, that chaotic catch-all for everything we don't know what to do with. But in Japan, the approach is precise. Every item, no matter how small, from a pair of socks to a blister pack of pills, has a specific address. I remember when I finally tackled my medicine cabinet. At our age, managing our health is priority number 1. Yet that cabinet was a disaster zone. I started using simple labeled bins, morning meds, evening meds, vitamins. The anxiety of searching for what I needed when I wasn't feeling well simply vanished. Organization studies show that this kind of system can save you 20% of the time you spend looking for things. But the real payoff isn't just time. It's the empowering feeling that you are the master of your environment. So start small. Go to your bathroom. Maybe use some inexpensive containers to give your toiletries a home. When everything has a place to return to, chaos cannot take root. And if you're thinking, but my house is too small for all these bins, don't worry. The Japanese have a brilliant secret for finding space where you least expect it. If you're sitting there thinking, but I don't have any floor space left for those bins, then habit number 6 is your answer. It is the culture of vertical storage. In America, we tend to spread out. We put things on the floor on low tables or deep in bottom cabinets. But as we get older, floor clutter isn't just messy, it's a trip hazard. And constantly bending down to retrieve heavy items takes a toll on our bodies. The Japanese solve this by looking up. They utilize the empty walls that we often ignore. Japanese architects estimate that maximizing vertical space can effectively increase your living area by 30%, even in the coziest homes. I have a friend, she's 55, and she used to complain constantly about back pain whenever she cooked, simply from bending over to dig out pots and pans from lower cabinets. Inspired by Japanese minimalism, she installed a simple rack at eye level. Suddenly, everything she needed was right there within easy reach. The bending stopped, and remarkably, so did her back pain. So look at your walls. That is valuable real estate waiting to be used. Install some sturdy shelves for your books or hooks for your kitchen tools. When you clear the floor, your home suddenly feels spacious.
It's so good to see you.
It feels like the room can finally
Please,
breathe
step
again.
inside
And once your
and make
kitchen is
yourself
set
at
up this
home.
efficiently, it completely transforms the way you cook. That leads us directly to a beautiful kitchen ritual and habit number 7. With our kitchen organized vertically, cooking feels easier, but we still face that common dread, don't we? The aftermath, the mess. This brings us to habit number 7, the clean-as-you-go routine. Here in the States, we tend to cook up a storm. We stack pots and pans in the sink, creating a mountain of dishes, telling ourselves, I'll deal with that after dinner. But let's be honest, after a good meal, the last thing any of us want to do is scrub dishes. That is when exhaustion really hits. The Japanese transform cooking into a meditative experience. Their principle is simple. Never let your hands be idle. While waiting for the water to boil, wipe the counter. The moment you finish slicing vegetables, rinse the knife immediately. According to the CDC, this habit of continuous cleaning can reduce the spread of kitchen bacteria by up to 70%, a crucial statistic for keeping our family safe. And a fascinating study in the Journal of Nutrition found that a chaotic kitchen actually subconsciously drives us to make unhealthier food choices. For me, cooking used to feel frantic. But once I started keeping a damp towel right by my side, wiping as I went, cooking became less like a chore and more like a dance. And the best reward? When dinner is over, you can actually sit, relax, and enjoy dessert with your family without that looming dread of a dirty kitchen hanging over your head. Now, while daily habits keep things running smoothly, there are times when our homes and our spirits need a deeper, more meaningful reset. That is the ancient secret of habit number 8. While daily habits keep our lives running, sometimes our spirits crave a deeper reset. This brings us to habit number 8, seasonal reset rituals, or what the Japanese call oasuji. Here in the States, we're familiar with spring cleaning, but we often do it randomly, usually when the mess becomes too much to ignore. But for the Japanese, oasuji is a sacred ritual. It is not just about scrubbing the dirt off the windows. It is about scrubbing the regrets of the past off our souls to welcome fresh energy. Psychology studies have long shown a profound link between our environment and our mental health. A stagnant home can lead to stagnant emotions and even mild depression, especially as we age and spend more time indoors. Rotating your home with the seasons is a powerful natural antidepressant. I've started doing this quarterly. It can be as simple as packing away the heavy wool of winter and bringing out the light, airy linens of spring. Every time I do this, I feel a sense of rebirth, as if a new year is beginning right in the middle of April. My advice to you is this: be kind to yourself. Don't try to do it all in a marathon session that leaves you aching. Pick one beautiful day. Maybe invite a grandchild or a friend to help with the heavy lifting. Safety first. Always. Treat it not as a chore, but as a ceremony to close one chapter and open another. And once you have that pristine, reset home, how do you prevent the clutter from creeping back in? The secret lies in the stillness of habit number 9. Now that we've deep cleaned our home, there's a golden rule to maintain that serenity. Habit number 9, keeping surfaces empty. Have you noticed that flat surfaces, your dining table, kitchen counters, coffee tables, act like magnets for clutter? Here in America, they often become accidental dumping ground for mail, reading glasses, and magazines. This clutter creates what psychologists call visual noise, and it silently drains our energy. The Japanese embrace the opposite. They cherish empty space, or ma. On a Japanese table, you might see just a single bowl of fruit or a solitary vase. Interior designers tell us that simply clearing off your surfaces can make a room feel 25% larger, a huge bonus if you're downsizing. But more importantly, according to the American Psychological Association, maintaining such a visual calm can reduce anxiety levels by up to 40%. I used to treat my dining table as a catch-all for paperwork, but when I cleared it off completely, leaving only a fresh bouquet of flowers, the shift was instant. My focus improved. My mind felt clearer. Walking into the kitchen suddenly felt like walking into a peaceful, high-end spa. So, here's the practice. Every time you are about to set something down on a counter, pause and ask, does this really need to live here? Protect those flat surfaces. And as you become more selective about what you allow into your line of sight, you naturally drift toward the pinnacle of Japanese wisdom in our final habit. We have arrived at the final habit, and perhaps the most profound one for this chapter of our lives. It is called minimal but meaningful living. In America, we spend our youth accumulating bigger houses, nicer cars, closets bursting at the seams. But as we cross the threshold of 50, the scale begins to tip. We start to realize that happiness isn't about having more. It's about having what matters. The Japanese teach us the art of curation. Instead of holding on to 100 dusty books you will never read again, keep the 10 that change your soul. This isn't about deprivation. It's about celebration. Inspired by the KonMari method that took the world by storm, I began this process myself. Turning 50, I realized I want to spend my energy playing with my grandkids, not managing my possessions. I let go of clothes that hadn't fit in a decade and souvenirs that held no memory. The minimalism movement has shown us that reducing the burden of ownership directly lowers our stress levels. It lifts a weight we didn't even know we were carrying. So, start gently. Tackle just one category a week, maybe books, maybe kitchen gadgets. Pick up each item and ask that golden question. Does this spark joy in my life today?
Great choice. That'll
If
be
not,
$15.
thank it for its service and let it go. This lightness is the best preparation for our golden years, where we choose to live for memories, not for things. And when you weave all these 10 habits together, what does your life actually look like? Let's bring it all home in our conclusion. This journey is about so much more than just cleaning your house. It is about clearing a path for a new way of living. We've covered the essentials together, from the one-touch rule that kills procrastination to the gratitude of Mottainai and the freedom of meaningful minimalism. Why does this matter so much right now? A survey by AARP highlights that people over 45 who maintain an organized living environment report significantly better physical and mental health. Transitioning from the typical American clutter to Japanese serenity doesn't happen overnight, but the peace of mind it brings is lasting. For me, these habits didn't just give me a clean house. They gave me back my time, the most precious asset we have left. So, please, don't feel overwhelmed. You don't have to do it all at once. Try my 30-day approach. Just pick one habit from this list that resonated with you the most and start today. Maybe set a daily reminder on your phone. Don't miss this chance to make your golden years lighter,
Cheers, honey.
brighter, and
To us.
truly yours. If you found value in our time together today, please hit that like button. It helps me so much. And I want to hear from you. Which habit are you going to try first? Drop a comment below. I love reading your
Goodbye,
stories.
everyone. Drive
And make sure
safely.
you're subscribed,
It was so lovely
because
to
in my
see
next
you.
video, I'm going to unveil the Japanese dietary secrets for longevity and vitality that you absolutely do not want to miss. See you there.